As Catholics, we know that in the Eucharist we have the fullness of Jesus, body, blood, soul, and divinity. That the Eucharist is at the very heart of our faith because it is the gift of Jesus offered to us at the Last Supper in the most poignant moment as he prepared for his death on the cross. We're in the midst of the Eucharistic revival, which is called for by the bishops throughout our country to reanimate our people's faith, love, understanding, and belief in the Eucharist. And here in the Diocese of Madison, as we lead up to another celebration of Corpus Christi, we're also launching a film called Dare to Believe. And in that film, both believers and unbelievers grapple with the faith in the Eucharist that the Church holds as the treasure that the Lord has given to us. You'll hear from witnesses who've come to understand the Lord's presence in the Eucharist and how that conviction has changed their lives. You also see people that are struggling with faith or don't believe at all, and yet unexpectedly, surprisingly, from their lips come remarkable insights about the Eucharist, even perhaps in their struggle to believe. So I just encourage you to watch the film, watch the vignettes of it, as we hope to animate people's hearts, that every single Catholic would come to value and know the Mass as the centerpiece of their life, as the masterpiece of God's love for us. That when we go to Mass, we enter into the vast, beautiful world of the resurrection of Christ. And we leave this time-bound world behind and we join in the liturgy of heaven. So as we know, in the Mass, earth unites to heaven. We enter into Jesus' death and resurrection. We offer our gifts on the altar, especially the sacrifices, the prayers, the joys, the sufferings of our past week. Those are laid on the altar in the symbolism of the bread and wine. The Lord receives our offerings as a great gift indeed. And through the fire of the Holy Spirit in the epiclesis at Mass, the priest calls down the power of the Holy Spirit to transform those gifts into the body and blood of Christ, so that we receive back as the living presence of God these humble gifts that we have offered to him. What a beautiful exchange. I give my little self to the Lord. He receives that gift and transforms it into the gift of his Son's body and blood and gives it back to us. So I just encourage you to watch the film. Think of somebody in your life who's drifted away from Mass, and perhaps they will never go to Mass again unless someone like you really engages them, shares with them what the Mass means to you, how the Eucharist has changed your life, and how you have come to encounter Christ in the power of the Eucharist. That's what this film aspires to do, but it can only do it so many ways and in so many places. Each one of us is opportunely situated to witness to all sorts of people, to bring them back to Christ, to bring them back to the Eucharist.
Like, you receive the Eucharist, correct? Yeah, the bread and the wine. When I was practicing that, it was taught as like the literal body and blood of Christ, like it becomes that. I honestly don't know if I have a good answer for that. What would inspire me to go back to that?
It's a little morbid if you're actually eating someone's body. I find that to be a little creepy.
If you feel that, hey, it's all based on having the body and blood of Christ, hey, that's great. You know, do I think it's essential? No.
Growing up Catholic, like, I just never feel like I was taught the significance of it. Like, it was just something like that you go to church and you do it, and like, maybe it's my church specifically, but they never really did a great job of explaining it to me. So I just kind of, I never really understood. Like, I know, it was kind of just something I was forced to do and I had to do.